On Instagram, you are never far from somebody trying to sell you something. In 2022, one of the most popular things they are trying to sell you is the physique of your dreams. What could be more attractive than your favorite influencer with a godlike physique offering to give you what he's got at a small price every month? Online coaching isn't particularly a new thing. It's been around for just over a decade. It was a natural extension of personal training. It's scalable, it's low cost, it's affordable for the client, and more importantly, it allows you to seek out coaches based on their knowledge rather than on their location. There are some major benefits to online coaching. Its existence, in my opinion, has improved the landscape of advice and guidance for people trying to achieve their goals in physical development. It is a lower cost for both the coach and the client. Rather than the £200, say, that you might pay for a personal trainer in your local gym, you can seek somebody out who's better experienced with a better knowledge set and possibly pay as low as £150 per month, at least back when coaching started. Like I said, another major pro of online coaching is that you can seek people out based on knowledge. You can vet people's approaches. You can figure out who you deem to be the best for what you're trying to achieve, and you can hire them no matter where they are in the world. Not only that, but the people that clients tend to be drawn to are the social media names and faces, the people they respect, they look up to, they admire, they idolize, they wish to be like this person, not just in physique, but in lifestyle. Now, this can be a positive. This can mean that people end up very afraid to disappoint these people. They are their absolute idol. They want to prove to them they're a hard worker, that they're just like them. But the worst kept secret in the fitness industry is the fact that your idol most likely has no clue what they're doing. Online coaching is a strange world. It sits in a bit of a grey area, adjacent to personal training. Online coaching is not regulated. There is no framework in place that says before you launch an online coaching service, you must achieve X, Y, and Z qualification. Although it is advantageous to have a personal training certificate or something which gives you a basis of education in this field, like for example, a sports degree, it is by no means a prerequisite. So as professional bodybuilders and fitness influencers were looking to how they could possibly monetize their physique in a more controlled way, a way that brought the power back into their hands and away from external sponsors and popularity in a commercial space, what do you think they did? Well, they saw this grey area as an opportunity to create something new, an opportunity to connect to their fan base in a direct, influential way, and a way in their mind to empower them to do as they had done before and achieve their dream physique. And of course, their followers did what their followers do best. They followed. And in the absence of standardized skills in the coaching marketplace, a few issues have started to appear. Well, I've done it, so why can't I teach it? Our experience is great, until you're smacked in the face by something you have not yet experienced. What happens when your prep client comes back with terrible blood work from your copy and paste anabolic stack? What happens when your client develops an eating disorder or is stuck in a binge and restrict cycle? What happens when you have to train around legacy injuries or you don't know how to adapt to joint pain? Granted, experience is absolutely imperative to being a high quality understanding coach. However, without the educational side, you can only deal with the situations you have already had to deal with in the way that you dealt with them. Unfortunately, as a client, somebody who goes through the process yourself, unless you're under a direct mentorship, then you're unlikely to actually understand the methodology fully. You may get an explanation from your coach, which sounds about right. However, most of the time that explanation is going to be distilled down for your knowledge level or for understandability, rather than having the full science explained, having all the other situations that they could explore explained, and actually breaking down the mechanics of what that choice means or why they made it. Education allows you to have a best guess sort of at any situation, rather than only being restricted to the ones that you've experienced. And there are many situations where having the best guess is incredibly vital. Now, granted, no coach should be giving you direct medical advice. If it's something serious, you should always go to a doctor, and none of the information in this video is to replace that. However, just to name a few issues that are absolutely imperative that a coach is knowledgeable enough to tackle: incorrect exercise execution, fatigue, blood work, organ stress, just about anything scientific. Would you rather have a coach who doesn't understand cycle design very well, and they end up giving you estrogen-related side effects like the starting points of gyno. Would you rather trust them to effectively get you out of that situation in a healthy manner? Or would you rather go with a coach who is intelligent enough to design your cycle so that you do not have to worry about these issues unless you're an extreme outlier? I understand that education is not everything and experience is imperative, but the real problem that I'm starting to see around the industry is that many hold neither. Scroll through Instagram and you will likely see bios that look a little like this. 20 years old, 4 years lifting, coach. 18, powerlifter, coach. 17 years old, Gymshark athlete, coach. The starting point for coaching is only limited to when the people believe that they have enough credibility to actually launch that service. Now, many of these people rise to fame with no knowledge or experience demonstrated in their videos. They'll do clickbait lifting videos and they just so happen to build a half-decent physique, or at least be able to make it look that way on social media, which gives them the credibility they deem acceptable to start controlling other people's physiques and bodies and health and fitness goals. Under the age of 20, I am sorry, but there is little to no chance that you have been obsessive enough, that you have been through the ringer enough in order to understand the different levels of knowledge when it comes to health, fitness and physique development. There are levels to this game, and new levels for me have been discovered on an annual basis. 1 year in, I knew nothing compared to 2 years. 2 years, nothing compared to 3, so on and so forth, until 8 years later, I still understand how much I have to learn. I can negotiate my way around pretty much any scenario that I have experienced, because as soon as I experience a situation, I obsessively research. Often I research before that experience occurs so that I'm prepared and ready for it. Before I started anabolics, I spent 2 years solidly, obsessively researching different theories, different stacks, what different drugs were, how they worked, whether they were good, bad, overall in terms of toxicity, and learning about safer use models. To be slightly lacking in either education or experience is absolutely fine when you have the other to match and compensate, but to be 20 years old, to have maybe done a level 2 PT course and think yourself capable of managing a contest prep, that's delusional. John Meadows, one of the greatest coaches to ever live, a great of our time, and a much respected member of the online bodybuilding education community, knew that there was a line between science and experience, what happened in the gym and what happened in theory in the lab. He knew that bodybuilding was difficult to measure in a lab setting, so a lot still had to come down to good old-fashioned bro science, or at least educated guesses based on experience. As a foundation, you need the education, and then you need to work on the experience in order to understand what does and doesn't work in practice. This is a major issue with young lifters coming up. There is so much information at their disposal. You can find a study about how lifting between 8 and 10 reps is perfect, then one about how anything below 12 does not affect muscle growth. Unfortunately, these people don't understand that experience is needed to be accompanied with a seriously lacking scientific foundation behind bodybuilding. There is information out there that needs to be interpreted, and to interpret it, you need the experience. One of the biggest issues and the most worrying is creepy coaches. Again, through an unregulated industry with nobody central to report these people to other than the police, there are many people who abuse the situation and power they're placed in. There are lots of men within the bodybuilding community who coach females. That's absolutely fine for respectable human beings with any sense of morals. However, for a lot of people out there, they decide that this is an opportunity to abuse their power. You're getting pictures from girls in underwear or in semi-revealing clothing every week in order to judge their physique progress. We've heard tales of coaches pestering girls for dates, trying to meet them in person for in-person check-ins, trying to get them to wear nothing in their check-ins or do something. Basically, some coaches use their platform as a personal Tinder. It is disgusting, it is vile, and unfortunately, again with an unregulated industry, it is much harder to report these people or to actually make this publicly aware. Without any form of formal investigation or without anyone forcing them to shut down their business, they can often go dark for a week until it all blows over and then resurface. Their clients often stick with them because they have a direct line to somebody that they look up to, trust and respect, and often they don't know who the people throwing accusations out there are, so they can weave any story they like. So with these worrying issues plaguing the coaching community today, what can be done to fix them? First of all, and I won't spend too long on this because I emphasized the importance when I was explaining the issues, but education. There are many forms of education. Not all education is created equal. When looking for a coach, you need to make sure they have at least one of the following: PT qualification, a J3 university or equivalent physical development course that's done privately. J3U is the most respected sort of bodybuilding coaching education service that's out there, but there are many, all of which well respected. Or a sizable experience and knowledge set that's demonstrable. 5+ years training. You want to see that they've personally done what you want to achieve, whether that's stepping on stage, actually lean and shredded, whether that's building 20-30 pounds worth of muscle, whatever the case. And you want to make sure that through their social media channels, through the content they provide, even if it's personally to you, that they're able to explain their methodologies, how they do things, why they do things. The second way to avoid a bad coach is the one-to-one consult call. Now, this is something that's quite popular among coaches. Many offer them for free. Some of them do charge, but most low to mid-level coaches, in terms of their wider reputation at least, so throwing myself into the mix there, will offer a free consult call. This is for them to get to know you and understand what you need from a coach, and for you to understand them, their methodologies, their skill set, their knowledge, their experience, and to be able to analyze it directly. This is an interview for both sides to make sure that you're right for them and that they're right for you. Make sure you write out a list of questions beforehand and you understand what you need to know from that person. For example, how often do you assess blood work? What kind of education and training do you have? What kind of situations have your clients gone through? Have any gone through the situation or the process that I want to go through? Obviously, how much you charge per month? How often are you available? How do you do check-ins? You want to understand the level of service that you're going to get. If they're not willing to spend that time to answer those questions, then also it's probably worth moving on to a coach who will invest time, because that is a positive sign of what they're going to do throughout the whole relationship. An average attentive coach is better than a good non-attentive one. My third point in this about how to avoid bad coaches is to listen to criticism of coaches. I understand that some of these people are going to be like your idols, right? I had people I really looked up to in the fitness industry, when I went into this game, when I started my bodybuilding journey. A lot of those people now I look at and think, my God, you are thick. So it's really important to look at the market, what they say, look to serious people who are at a serious late stage of physique development. Listen online as well when accusations are thrown around, because that kind of stuff isn't handled lightly. In my opinion, there are so many coaches out there that are of such a high quality that if there are any accusations out there that seem even mildly credible, then you should listen to them and move on. I know of so many amazing coaches who coach some of the best in the industry who still do not pay much attention to their lower level clients, who have caused issues with those clients because of that. And I listen to that and I understand that it's not worth going to that person unless you are somebody who brings them attraction, because then they'll prioritize you more, or somebody who's going straight into a contest prep, because in the off season they tend to care less. They tend to prioritize their prep clients, especially those who are professionals. But there are also people out there who have had their name thrown about by a lot of different people in the industry as abusing the trust with their followers and their clients, and you need to also listen to that. I get a good lay of the land just by listening to those around me who I trust. If they insist that you jump on anabolics when you're natural, or that you do high-risk cycles with no negotiation possible, then stay away. An IFBB Pro card is not necessarily a good sign of coaching capability, skill, or knowledge. 100,000 followers has nothing to do with how good they could be as a coach. Having hundreds of coaching clients doesn't qualify that they're a good coach. In fact, if anything, it could mean quite the opposite. Personally, my approach to this, and the approach that I recommend to anybody who's considering online coaching, is to only teach what you have both learned through either self-research or formal education plus experience. I train people in the off-season, or I train lifestyle clients who are simply looking to get in shape or maybe add a bit of muscle. All stuff which is second nature to me now, which I have spent hours and hours researching obsessively, and which I am more than capable of achieving myself. I do not coach people in a contest prep. I would not coach a high-level bodybuilding competitor. Not that that opportunity arises very often. Nick Walker, hit me up. So I'll be taking the J3 University course very, very soon. I'll be doing a contest prep in 2023 where I will hit that stage. Finally, promise. And only when I feel ready, I will launch my contest prep coaching services. If you take on clients you are not equipped to handle, then you'll have terrible reviews out there about what you do, and it will put off the people who you could very well help. So stick to what you can do now and build upon it through the formal education and experience that's required to be an all-round quality coach. Until contest prep services launch, if you want to build some muscle, lose some fat, get in the best shape of your life, then get in touch, and I'll see you in the next one.